From Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, a review of Zorba the Greek and the Pawnbroker by Pauline Kael. If we are formalists and reject a work because it isn't totally good, then we may close ourselves off from the few emotional experiences possible in recent films. It's easy to be aesthetically fastidious and put down Zorba the Greek or the Pawnbroker as clumsy or mechanical or pretentious, as they are, and to point out that despite their superficial modernism of language or technique, they are basically traditional. Responding to Michael Kokianis's Zorba the Greek is like taking a job with bad pay but marvelous fringe benefits. The central life force conception, banal and forced as it is, yet yields up something to us, something we want to believe in, and so it helps us enjoy the good things in the movie. The script is unconvincing, and Kokoyannis's worst fault is choreographed grand sequences, set pieces, which the camera exposes as too neatly grouped, too obviously planned. The villager's knifing of the young widow is almost enough to wreck any movie, and the sequence of the old ladies stripping the dying courtesan's hotel goes on past necessity, goes on so long we want to say enough, enough. It's too thorough, too classic. Yet Anthony Quinn's glee in his role as Zorba is wonderfully satisfying, like the pleasure we might feel seeing a pretty girl who's usually dressed in cheap, ugly clothes and exquisite finery, and she's not just pretty, she's beautiful. It makes us feel good to look at her. Ironically, despite the phoniness of the life force he's supposed to embody, there is life force in Quinn's performance, and in the grandeur of Irene Pappas's beauty, and the acting of Lila Kidrova as the coquettish old ruin who thinks she can cheat age and death if she's still attractive enough to get a man. Kokoyannis lingers too long over this great old tart, wanting a little too much of a good thing, but it's human, we want to hold on to her too. Sidney Lumet's The Pawnbroker could be dismissed as a Jewish Christmas carol trying to be King Lear. Most of its vignettes are trite, and the movie is obviously trying too hard for a powerful effect. Yet it achieves one. I think the movie wrenches us not because it reveals how most or some or even a few concentration camp survivors are or might be, but because this is how we fantasize and fear that we could be, unable to feel again, deadened, past pain, past caring. We fear that we could become mummies, walking dead, that, subjected to the worst possible things that could happen to us, we would become like this man, who can't feel because pain has destroyed his capacity for more suffering. If this Scrooge should reform, the movie would collapse into mechanics, but his awakening is only to sharper pain, and the helplessness of one who then can feel, but can feel nothing but pain, what the numbness protected him from. In this movie, too, most of the intensity comes from the actors. The great old Juano Hernandez, as the man who wants to talk, gives the single most moving performance I saw in 1965, and Rod Steiger's power makes our questioning of much of the action seem like quibbling. The Pawnbroker is a terrible movie, and yet I'm glad I saw it. It helps to remind us that there are qualities in bad movies that have been lost in good ones, just as there is something in James Michener's novels, even though I can't get through them, that has been lost in our literature. All right, thank you for listening. I just got this book today. What What was I trying to find the other time? I think it was, Bonnie and Clyde, and it was in this book, as a Ranger Girl told me. And I'm sorry about the last video. I had a sneeze, and I clipped it out to put at the end where I said, here's a human moment that someone would appreciate, and then I lost it and couldn't paste it in and forgot to cut out by saying that. Anyway, I wanted to read that short one. My father really liked Zorba the Greek, so I just caught that, and it was only 2 pages, so there you are. I like reading Kael a lot, but I don't want to read nothing but Kael, even if her estate or the New Yorker doesn't mind. You might, if you don't mind, looking through my old videos and see if any author is there and makes you think, I'd like to hear something from him, and put a comment in, please, and I will see if I want to do that. That'd be nice to get some suggestions. And that's all I got. Thank you for listening to the stuff which I said after I thanked you for listening the first time.